with that load, competition maximizer achiever, what's that like?
It keeps me going. I feel alive. Like, I don't know, like spiritually, it makes me feel like an alignment. When I talk about alignment, I'm clear about my purpose. My competition, my maximizer, my achiever are working towards that purpose.
Hello, and welcome back to Season 3 of Coach to Coach. Today I'm joined by Russell and Dahlia, and we are talking about the strength of competition. And I almost feel like there should be some background walk-up music for this one because competition has such a big reputation. We all understand what the word means, but we're going to unpack it today, and I have the right two guests to do that. So Dahlia, I will come to you first, as I have done with all the guests this season. What are your top 5 strengths?
It's competition.
Number 1. Awesome.
I love to win. I just love to win. Maximizer, achiever, learner, and focus.
Good. Thank you. And where are you coming to us from today? Where's your recording studio?
My recording studio is in the Pocono Mountains. You know the Poconos? People come here to the Camelback Mountain and the Kalahari Resort to ski during the winter. But spring it's beautiful here.
Lovely. And that's Pennsylvania, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Is it on the border or is it deep inside of Pennsylvania?
Not at the border.
Not the border. Okay. So you're in Pennsylvania. Cool. Dahlia, thank you. Russell, where are you coming to us from today?
Yeah, so it's Dahlia. This is not a part of this at all, but my wife and I did our honeymoon at the Poconos almost 20 years ago.
Wow.
I'm from Brooklyn. I'm in the Maryland area. When you said it, I was like, yeah, the Poconos up the street. So that's cool. Yeah, but I'm in the Maryland area. They call it the DMV. I'm in Maryland though. But District of Columbia and Virginia are right around the corner.
Very cool. And your top 5 strengths?
So competition, the best one, number 1. Then achiever.
You both win. Both win. Number 1.
100%. So competition, achiever, maximizer, strategic, and then activator.
Very cool. And I noticed right away you both have that competition achiever. So fun story. I worked with a coach who he coached Olympic athletes. And he said whenever he would find competition achiever in whatever combination it showed up in the top 3, his research would show him that would be the difference in some cases between being a top 3 podium finisher or not. Just the ability to have those two connected because of it's almost when you find one, you'll find the other, because that drive of competition with the motor of achiever, keeping it moving. So right away, I got to ask you both, and I'll come to you right back to you, Russell, on this one. So competition 1, achiever 2. What's it like being you with those 2 drivers right at the top?
So for me, it's wonderful now. But I think it took me a minute. So I took so I work at a church. I do a lot of faith-based work. So some of my clients are lead pastors. I'm working through executive ministers now, and some youth people. But I took it in 2016, and I did not know the depth of it. So I just had the competition. I just had the achiever. I just had the I want to win, and that was it. I didn't realize the nuances to it that actually make me, I think, a great team player because I know how to use them both. But for me, what it's like being me on a team, I think I'm always trying to figure out the best way for the team to win, because I know selfishly that if the team wins, I win too.
I could spend a lot of time on this one because I was recently asked, is competition a detriment to a team or a superpower to a team? And my answer was immediately superpower, 100%, unequivocally, because even if the competitor isn't fully mature, that strength makes everybody better because it pushes to, it has one, we will win. And if I got to will all of us to win, we will win. That's how this is going to go. So it picks it. I mean, get on my back, people. We're going to go, we're going to win this thing. And so, though, yeah, there's room to grow, develop, and we've all seen bad examples of competitors throughout athletics that, can make it about themselves. But by and large, would you agree, Russell? I mean, this strength
I
has
agree.
huge upside for teams.
Yeah, I agree. And when I learned that, because early on I saw competition as just Russell winning. But when the team grows and the stakes grow, you understand that you can win, but if the team doesn't win, you really don't because you have nobody to celebrate it with. Because the majority, I would say 100% of what matters in life cannot be done by yourself. It really is done better with team, with family, with people around you. And that's it. So for me, it's the driving force. So I'm the guy though that because I have competition, I have achiever, and I have maximizer. And then I have activator holding it up and then strategic. So I think I'm right all the time. So it's all of the things. But I'm the guy that's not gonna let us stop because I know we can do it and people appreciate it once we get to the end point. It's like, yeah, well, Russ is not gonna let us stop. I'm not because why should we?
It makes you resilient, right?
100%.
I got to say, we're coming back to I'm right all the time. I'm coming back to that statement.
Oh, it's 100%.
I'm coming back to that one. I had to write it down. I'm like, ooh, we're unpacking that one because that's a good one because it is very true, right? With this strength, there is a confidence that, no, trust me. Trust me, I've looked. I validated, I fact checked. Trust me, I'm right. You'll see. One day we'll get there. All right. Well, thank you, Russell. Dahlia, please tell us about competition with Achiever. But before we got on air, you told us a little story about when you first saw this. And I said, we got to tell that. We got to tell just how you felt when this showed up number one.
Yeah, so 2010, I joined Gallup, and my first day at work, I was given take this Clifton Strengths assessment. And so I completed the assessment and competition came up first. And at Gallup, our desk, we have to put our top 5 strengths right in front of our cubicle, that board. So I was sitting right in front of the entrance. So anyone who walked into the office would see me first and would see my competition right there. That was my first week, Russell. And, and I was like, oh my God, everybody's, here I'm trying to coming in with a lot of enthusiasm. I want to build relationship. I'm eager to I want to build bonds with people, right? And find best friend at work. But my competition is telling everyone, stay away from her. I feel that. So I was so in denial. I was like, hey, Jerry Hansen, you interviewed me and I told you I've played all these sports and they're not solo sports. Like I played rugby, I played softball. They're all sports. And I've had leadership roles in school. So, I was so eager to convince him that I'm not that solo player and competing with everyone else. But I was given a coach at Gallup, and then her name's Vilia Thomas, and she coached me. And also Jerry sat next to me. He was standing, and then he was like, I got to talk to this girl before she changed her mind about competition. So he kneeled down, he sat down next to me, and he was like, did you do this? Do you do this when this happened? So he asked me all those questions. I was like, oh my God, is that competition? Then I'm gonna own it. I claim it. I'm gonna own this competition. And after that, I've just used my competition all my life now.
That's great. That's great.
You also have Achiever with yours, so you have the motor, and I'm curious.
Maximizer, like Rusty.
Yeah, we have 3. We have
I know. I heard you both. I was like, oh, we could just unpack same top 3, just slightly different order for both of you. Couldn't have picked a better set because these are very common to find. The Maximizer, Competition, Achiever, those sets come through quite a bit. So Dahlia, with that load, Competition, Maximizer, Achiever, what's that like? Day to day. And as I said to Russell, what's that like being you with that drive, that motor behind that drive to win?
For me, it keeps me going. I feel alive. I don't know, spiritually, it makes me feel like an alignment. So, but of course, when I talk about alignment, is I'm clear about my purpose. So I have a very clear purpose. And so my competition, my maximizer, my achiever are working towards that purpose. So when I can achieve, on the path of that purpose, then I just feel alive, just alive. And I do this thing, this exercise to identify my ikigai. What's my ikigai? And to have that, I feel I can do a lot more.
Good.
With the achiever, when you achieve something and you win, you want to do more.
Yeah, that's great.
So for both of you, I'm curious because you started to bring us down the path, Dahlia, in terms of what fuels your competition. And you could answer this in terms of how people fuel you, how they support this and encourage this. And you could even give me, and I will be curious, I'm going to come to this, of what does the opposite, what takes from it. And so if you just sit in the realm of whether it's team members, people in your life, whether they're part of your family or your close-knit friends, how do they fuel that? How do they help get the most of this competition? What things do they say? How do they encourage you? Either one of you can start down that path for me.
Dahlia, you want to go first?
You go ahead, Russell.
Okay. So I know for me, to be quite honest, I hate that term like a lot, but to be quite honest, I appreciate my competition, but I really use it in team dynamics, right? So I really use it with my achiever, with my maximizer. And so what fuels me is being able to honestly, with those three, to solve problems. And then of course, strategic, the always being right part, which is I'm not always right. Like I know I'm wrong. But I go into it with a set of understanding that I can influence the situation. And to be honest, for me, a lot of the times it's more of a weight because I know the way I'm built. One, I think I'm right. Two, I walk in with competition. So I'm literally willing more than anybody else. And Dahlia, you may agree because I'm just the one with you. I'm willing to like, if I don't finish, I'm gonna die here. Like I'm gonna win. Like so this is like so either I win or I die. Like what are the two? Can't do both. Um, but what fuels me then is being able to help solve problems, being able to help people move forward. And that's why like even coaching. So even what I do now on staff, I serve at Human Fellowship. Big shout out to my church and my pastor, Pastor Watley. I'm over operations, but really I'm just coach. Like I walk around trying to make sure everybody gets better, everybody is better. And so for me, I love solving problems. And that is also a thing. Now, also for me, because in my top 10, there is no blue. So the first blue I get is positivity number 11. But I believe that I'm able to use my theme dynamics and my maximizer and my achiever and my activator to be able to draw that relationship equity that I would, if I had like developer or connectedness, includer, I would have that. I don't have those. Those are further down, but I'm able to use these. And that's why I even coach my teams on, even leaders that I'm able to coach, is even though you don't have a certain theme, you actually have it in spades and other themes, the more you're willing to use them together and be smart about it and know that that's a quote unquote, blind side, or Gallup now using the term of, a balcony or a basement of a certain theme. So for me, it's motivating around problem solving. I said a lot, but the answer is motivating and problem solving.
Good. How about you, Dahlia?
Yeah, my maximizer, the personalized insights, I'm going to read to you. It says, chances are good that you customarily figure out what makes each person special. You talk to, observe, or study individuals who produce nothing less than excellence to identify what inspires them. Unquestionably, you prefer to associate with those who share your passion for taking something good and making it better. So if you hear my maximizer's personalized insights, it's all around people, maximizing potential. And so my competition is about, I see you have this potential. I feel I have potential with my achiever and maximizer in competition, but particularly my maximizer in my personalized insights say, you can help people get better. And so I was told so many times when I was just a consultant at Gallup, by my family members, by my friends, and even my team members within Gallup. They're like, why are you not a coach? Because naturally I'm coaching. They're like, you don't know, but you're always coaching when you talk to us. But for them, I fuel the fire. in them. Some people have imposter syndrome and they're like, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. And my maximizer is already looking at that potential and say, you can do it. And so my competition goes with my maximizer and say, I see your potential. I'm going to get you unstuck from this mentality and I'm going to show you how you win. And so my competition help people achieve their competition, their best, them at their best, because competition is you at your best. But at the same time, sometimes it can be intimidating to some people. I think, Russell, Brandon, you've experienced that yourself where you go like, go, 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 you can do it. Why are you not doing it? And then there's also a part where you've gone on this journey with this person you coach or even your family members, and they still prefer to be there. Even though you've shown the path, you walked with them, you held their hands, and say, this is the way to go. I'm in your corner. I do Muay Thai boxing, Russell. So, I'm that coach in the corner of Muhammad Ali saying, go, go, go. And then, but this person still want to stay stuck, right? Then they're going to hate me because then it starts, the dynamic starts to go like, okay, I don't believe in myself, but you think too highly and this is not matching. So they start to hate me or I get disappointed. Then these dynamics become like, you know what? And there's a part of me like, I just want to give up on you because I'm trying to help you, but you don't want to help yourself. So it's always that kind of dynamics in relationship with people. But my family, my parents, because I'm also the first child. So my parents already set the standards very high and I naturally born with my competition. So my parents have always, feed me how to excel in my life, but aligning with my purpose. So that's how my competition and my maximizer play out.
What if the people you coach could navigate their total health and performance with the same ease as using Google Maps? Our friends at Wellbeing at Work help organizations turn fragmented programs and frustrated employees into thriving, high-performing teams. Wellbeing at Work acts as a GPS to enable total health and peak performance, pinpointing where your people are now, where they want to go, and the best path to get there. With Wellbeing at Work, coaches become credentialed navigators with personalized insights, proven tools, and human-centered support. If you're a coach committed to performance and care, Wellbeing at Work is your path forward. Navigating at scale from burnout to breakthrough is now possible. Visit podcast.34strong.com to find a better way forward to empower a healthier, more energized workforce. Again, that's podcast.34strong.com, Wellbeing at Work.
That's great. I think, what's interesting you said about the competition, I think, and I know it's across the board. So you do Muay Thai. I picked up probably a year ago, picked back up a form of jiu-jitsu called VSK jiu-jitsu. Because as a competition person, as an achiever person, I needed another area to challenge myself. So like I'm a runner, I cycle, I swim. But I wanted to pick up this other piece. I just left the gym earlier this morning, and then came in to do meetings, and now I got this, and I got meetings after this. But I think that also picks up, in having competition and even achiever kind of high up, that you consistently, it's not just one area that you want to excel in, but it's across the board in life that you want to excel in. Which again, I think makes us number one.
I do jiu-jitsu too. I train jiu-jitsu too, Russell.
Nice.
So I think because in jiu-jitsu, it's not always about you winning. It's not about you taking down people and attacking people and then you feel that ego thing. But, competition is when you do jiu-jitsu, something like jiu-jitsu, you get the challenge and you know that you're getting stretched. And so that stretch and that challenge to me is like you sharpening my potential. You keep sharpening, you keep like that knife, you just keep sharpening and get sharper and sharper. The more you train, the more you stretch, the more you're challenged. So I do the same. I train jiu-jitsu. I get, KO all the time in MMA, but I don't always win. But that's the thing that makes me want to do more. But sometimes it makes people exhausted just watching us.
It does. It does. It does. I do
Because they
have to
go like,
refrain
"Do you know how to rest? Do
that
you
part.
with your achiever like, do you know how to just take a break?" Like, no, because like taking a break makes me feel unproductive, makes me feel lazy, and just that slum.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's definitely a balance in it. I think one of the things I share with people who ask all the time, like even when I pick this up, so my church is doing really well. We're on the list in 2023 as the fastest growing church in the country, and so we're doing a lot. I got other stuff that I'm doing, and when I picked up jujitsu, they're like, "Well, how do you have time?" I'm like, "It's not really about having the time. It's about feeding what's feeding me, right?" And so there's a level of rest that I get in knowing that I'm pushing and I'm achieving new things as opposed to just doing other things. So it is a balance in it. But yeah, I definitely agree. That's great. You do Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. That's what's up.
I appreciate both of you sharing that because I'll be the one on here saying I don't do the combat sports, but I picked up pickleball recently.
Oh,
Almost
okay.
the same. I know it's almost the same. Um, but I enjoy the learning curve because there's a rating. So a 5 is like you can make money doing it, and then you work your way down. And so I'm like a 2.5 or 3. Like I'm moving up the ranks. And so with my competition, my son is 15, and I didn't know this, but in school they play pickleball every day in PE. So he's really good. And he's in amazing shape. So I'm 50, he's 15, and I decided, well, if I could beat this kid who plays every day and he's super athletic, he's a ball player, pick a ball, he plays it, you know, could outrun me in a heartbeat. I mean, just all of that energy at that age, right? And so my big stake for myself was if I can beat Daniel, then I can go play other people. And so we've had a back and forth lately. I can win now. I can actually get a game here or there, but now I have to tell the difference when he's playing. You guys know this with a competitor, right? When they're playing for real and when they're kind of not playing for real because they're kind of going easy on you, and those wins are like that doesn't feel good at all.
At all,
Like
no.
like you, I need your best against my best because then I'll know that I actually won, right? And so but I think you both are right. You're nailing it. I'm a 10 competition, but it absolutely fuels me to have something else that I'm aiming to win. Business does that for sure. Business has done that. I've also, Russell, served in the ministry, and that, for 10 years, working in youth and working with young adults very much served a huge part of that drive and determination and wanting to show out excellent, right? Hey, if we're doing this, we're going to show out and be really hospitable, really good at how we welcome people, really good at our programs and making people feel, they don't have to guess the growth path because it's right there. They know exactly how to connect in and feel part of community, right? And so I can definitely feel with both of you. Dahlia is, because she's a member of our team, what I love most with Dahlia is when somebody doubts her. That's my favorite. I watched that recently. I watched that recently on a thread exchange. Somebody felt like they needed to handle something for her, and I remember stepping back from it, and going, "Oh, this is going to be fun," and Dahlia saying, "Oh, well, let me show you how I would handle that." And so for my experience with Dahlia watching that competition, I've always watched it through the filter of it makes everyone better. It makes everyone better around because in her mind, she's not going to let us fail. Would that be accurate, Dahlia?
Yeah, I like to say, I've said this to you before, Brandon, and to Ryan and the team, as well as to Julie. I said, I'm here to win for the team. So I always think of myself as the Lewis Hamilton because I've played that role in teams in my career, throughout my career, before coming to 34 Strong. So it comes naturally like, okay, not the leadership, not that I want to win, but I see myself in that role because the competition is infectious. When the team know that we can win and we keep winning, like I always see myself like Lewis Hamilton and the podium, like, we're always top 3 or we're always top 5. We never go down from there. So for me, it's give me the best car and I'll race for the team. I train myself. I train hard, but also with the team, give me the best car and I'll race for you. So those moments you observe, Brandon, those are like my grappling moments. Yeah. But at the end, it's us. Like, then I show the team, like, I have this vision for how we can win. So yeah, ruffle some feathers, but I'm comfortable with that.
I'm glad you said that because I think competition is comfortable with ruffling feathers. It is comfortable with it. Sometimes to get where we're going, we need friction.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to have some conflict. We gotta go through challenges together because great teams don't arrive that way. They don't show up with that synergy. It's forged in fire. It's forged in, and honestly, and this is a question I have to ask all of us today, but would love to hear both of you. Teams forged through loss, right? Through hardship, through not succeeding. And you both are describing some of the individual things you do and then some of the team parts. But what have you learned now that you're both experts in this? What have you learned about your own resilience, your own bounce back, and how that connects to competition and how it connects to your other strengths of just your way of coming back from defeats when inevitably they happen in life?
Well, you all, you mentioned faith, Russell. So one thing for sure, resilience, I have to say first is the faith, to bounce back. For me, it's the faith. And then, the spiritual strength. You could, to bounce back from anything, you need that spiritual strength. And you train that in martial arts. I've done martial arts, and I say, wow, this builds my resilience, my spiritual strength. And it shapes your character too in this martial arts. But yeah, so for me, it's first that, and then it's not about winning anymore. It's about believing the competition, the maximize the achiever, is believing we always have that belief we have the potential. And so with the spiritual strength and faith and that belief, you say, I'm going to rise from this. I'm going to find my way back out of this. And so that's how I have used it's not about winning in those moments where you have to get yourself out and up, it's really, I know I got this. And sometimes with competition, when you fail, it hits you so bad, like, so you cannot accept it sometimes. But because of that spiritual wisdom where you say, well, some things you don't have to always win, right? Or don't come out the way you envision. But if you keep the faith and you say, well, there's something else out of this, something I can learn from this. And usually when I get out of this, my competition, and when you talk about that learning curve, Brandon, the learning curve is so steep. So I come out of it stronger, smarter, I hope so, and wiser, So then I feel, yes, that's an accomplishment.
Coaches and service-based business builders want to 10x your impact and income? Join the Strengthspreneur Mastermind, led by Brent O'Bannon, MCC, author of the Strengthspreneur 10x Workbook, and the world's first Gallup-certified strengths coach. This powerhouse group gives you personalized coaching, peer support, and proven tools to launch and scale your unique strengths. We meet 2 times a month. Come sharpen your strategy, boost confidence, and grow smarter, not harder. Visit podcast.34strong.com to thrive as a strengthspreneur. Again, visit podcast.34strong.com. Join Brent O'Bannon and thrive as a strengthspreneur.
Yeah, I would agree and echo in certain parts. I think for me, using my competition, but also using my strategic and also using my activator, because I can start anything, or I feel like I can start anything. But knowing that, okay, this part didn't work. but if I do it this way, it may work. And so that potential you talked about, Dahlia, that understanding that, of course, faith, because faith is prominent, but understanding that it didn't work this way, but if I try it with this way, the resilience of my competition is, like I said earlier, I was joking, but I'm serious about it, that I'm either gonna do this or I'm gonna die. Like I'm pushing forward. So I'm not gonna, I used to run, I still run now, but I used to run and I ran with a friend of mine who's way more in shape than me. And the first time we ran 10 miles together, I literally called my wife and said, I gotta get a bike because I'm gonna try to beat her and I can't beat her. So I need to get something else. Because if not, I'm gonna die out here on these streets. I mean, it's not gonna be good. And I was joking, but I meant it because I know how Russell is built. Like I'm gonna try to keep, but if I can shift it in a different way, then I can win in that way. And I use the same thing with our teams. For me, there's somewhere in competition, I forget where it is in the description, but there's one word, it says cheerleader. And if you use it in the right way, you can be the main cheerleader where you can be the example to the team, even in failure, even in regret, even in moments where it didn't work out. And I've had that example with us. Now, the one tension I will add, Brandon, if I can, I know for me in competition is because I know I want to win. And for those who are listening, maybe who have competition first, one of the downsides is I sometimes won't even engage if I know I can't win. Right. So when you're doing a coaching thing and you're going through the Gallup thing and they have you, write this sentence with your dominant hand, then write it with your non-dominant, write your dominant. When we did that, I didn't even try. And I told Steven, who is the coach, I was like, yo, why am I gonna I'm gonna suck. So why would I even try it? But what I've learned even from that example, and I even coach, is sometimes in competition, to your point, Dahlia, which is very astute, is sometimes it's really not about winning, it's about what you can learn. So what am I forsaking learning because I know I'm not going to be number one? But I may learn something that will help me or help the team be number one in something else, or at least in the top three. So that's also, and I also, when I find someone who I coach with competition number one, I try to make sure I help them understand that part of it, because that's a more nuanced understanding of competition as well, because you can learn even in your loss.
That's good.
Russell, you said, I know how Russell is built. And you said
Yes,
that.
100%.
And you made your choices, which way to go, what to do. That's your self-awareness.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
only with that self-awareness, you have the clarity about yourself and what you want to decide to do, the action you want to take. Then you have the confidence to pursue, even if it means you have to go for it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you show people, see, you didn't believe in this, but
Yeah.
I show you, let me show you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's self-awareness.
Really strong. Agreed.
I'm going to ask you both to share a little bit of just the difference in your competition when we connect it to another one of your strengths. So slight difference here, but so Dahlia, you're competition learner, top 5, Russell competition strategic. And if you can, I want you to describe how those two connect in a way. Russell, you started to give us this when you were describing how strategic helps informs your decisions, gives you confidence that, hey, I'm seeing this right. I'm seeing the right path here. Help me understand how that supports competition, how those two work together.
So for me, strategic, the basic thought of strategic is you think through all of the options. And you thought through all of the options, you've weighed all of the options. And so now pick the best one and your competition can drive it and move forward. Now, the tension is you thought through all of the, so what I lead, my senior pastor, he will maybe listen to this and watch it later. His number one is strategic. So I'm going to say what I've said to him and other people all around. When you have somebody that's strategic, you have to give them more context, because you can make the right decision, but it's only based off what you know. If there's something you do not know, it's a wrong decision. And then if you fuel that wrong decision with your competition, then you just made a bigger wrong decision. So I try to balance the two. And so the way for me, the two of them work is I try to make sure I ask every possible question from every possible teammate before I move forward. Because I know that when my strategic finds the right answer, hits my competition, it's a wrap. We're going this way. And because in my top 5, in my top 10, 5 of them are influencing. So I lead with influence. So for me, and I said it earlier, it's a weight for me because I used to think, oh, it's cool. Everybody will follow what I say. It's not really cool because if I'm going the wrong way, then I'm taking everybody the wrong way. And that's not fun as a leader. That's not fun. That's not cool. That's not great at all in the church world, in any world. For me, the two of those work in that way, if that makes sense.
It does very much. Thank you. Dahlia, how about you with learner? And I'll preface yours with this. I coach athletics, and as a coach, whenever inevitably a team takes a loss, if we do, I like undefeated seasons, but if we do take a loss, I always tell my teams, look, you have a choice right now. You can take a loss, you can take a learn. And I'm huge on this is a chance for you to better. You could get better if you can learn from why this happened. Why is the scoreboard that way? And I'm wondering for you, how does that learner connect with your competition?
So learner for me is through experience. So this is something I noticed about myself. Since I was young, I like to play with those older than me. So you know how they talk about competition? We like to benchmark. So when I was young, inexperienced, not very knowledgeable in things, my friends are older than me, senior than me. I would go to like these wise looking men in the family, the relatives in the function, and just like, I want to get something out of these people to learn. But personally myself is to put myself in the experience, and then that's how I learn. Because my belief for myself is I practice what I practice what I preach. So I will not preach as a coach or a consultant if I have not felt what you felt. I may not feel everything, but if I learn from somebody who's gone through that, you gave me you sharing your experience. You know how people share their life stories, their success stories. There's a lot of challenge, pain, and all from the success stories. I learn from them. And then from what I put myself into, I learn from them. So learner is not me reading the textbooks and all the self-help books. My learner is really from the experience. So I love to acquire knowledge. So I do a lot of research. My background is in mathematics and economics, so I love doing a lot of research. So I do a lot of research. I talk to a lot of scholars. I learn from them, and just connecting with people. Like I can take all their stories and turn it into a gemstone and say, here's what everyone have achieved, but they've gone through a lot of challenges in their lives, and take that to everyone, like passing the torch. Here you go. The life lessons in there. So that's how I use my learner in coaching. And also, that's why I said earlier, getting out of my challenges with resilience and the spiritual strength makes me wiser, because the learning from experience and from people, it feeds into your, it makes you mature, right? You mature, you learn, and also it keeps your ego in check. So my learner is really that, me to experience it and share my personal experience, to say, hey, you're not going to remain here. We're going to help you together. And let me share with you what I've gone through personally. And you see where I'm at right now. It's not, I'm not born with this, I work for it. So that's how I use my learner with my competition.
Awesome. Thank you both. Our listeners, I want you to take a moment and evaluate your own strength. If you have this gift of competition, and today you've learned something about that you want to grow in or share, please do comment. We'll post this on LinkedIn, YouTube, and in a moment, I'm going to ask Russell and Dahlia to tell us where you can find them if you have more questions for them. And if this is something you'd like to pass on to someone with competition, please do share. You can send this on to anyone that might develop. You've heard a lot of rich content today on this particular strength. I personally think this one can often be misunderstood. And I think today we've had some really good depth and definition for it. Russell, for the benefit of our listeners, can you tell them where they might find you or how to connect with you, and any way that you may want to get to know them?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Thank you again, Brandon, for having me on. This is really cool. My handles online everywhere is Ministry Pivot. Ministry Pivot on IG. Website is ministrypivot.com. I told you I do a lot of work in the faith-based world, so my actual handles for my personal self is Rev Russ, REVRUSS on IG, and then Pastor Russ on Facebook. And so all of those are ways in which you can get me and we can plug in and continue to talk.
Thank you. Dahlia?
Yes, so you can find me on LinkedIn, first name Dahlia Sutrisno, as you can see on the screen. And also first name _ Sutrisno, last name at 34strong.com.
Awesome. And Dahlia has been one of our top, most amazing leaders in a lot of our work. She's taken on one of our biggest new projects and just crushing it. So I get to speak a little more personal about you, Dahlia. Thank you for your amazing effort. And for our friends out there listening, hopefully today did add a lot of benefit. You'll get to hear a word from our sponsor in a moment. As always, thank you for joining us on Coach to Coach. Russell and Dahlia, thank you both again for coming on. And for everyone, we'll see you next time, next week. Take care.
That's a wrap on this episode of Coach to Coach. If you've enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're a strengths coach looking to dive deeper, join the Coach Strong community. It's where coaches like you come together to share insights, support one another, and discover partnership opportunities. Be part of the conversations that are elevating our industry. Email community@34strong.com to join today. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week on Coach to Coach. Stay strong.